and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our duty to fix it. We are touching on every sector of society. Race, class, and corruption. Nothing is off limit. No holds barred. The Cold Truth with Kimm Cole. The power belongs to the people. Join us right here, Monday to Sunday, 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you all for tuning in to The Cold Truth. I am Kimm Cole. Now, our topic for discussion, as promised, healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago. Joining us in studio this afternoon, we have former Health Minister and Minister of the San Juan Barataria area, Dr. Fuad Khan. Yeah. Dr. Khan, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Kim, and good afternoon to all the listeners.
Okay, so getting into the discussion. Now, every time I drive past the empty hospital in Couva and think about how much money we spent on this new structure, I question whether the money could have or would have been better spent on fixing existing hospitals. Complaints are always surfacing about healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago. Long wait times, understaffed hospitals, rude and disrespectful nurses and medical practitioners, faulty equipment, lost files, lack of critical medicines at the dispensary, and the list goes on and on indefinitely. Now today, I want to find out what's really going on with healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago.
The same thing you just said, or even worse. Exactly everything that you've said there, it's going on and it's getting worse. And I'm not saying so because I'm not the minister, but I'm saying so because of the reports that are coming out to me, because I belong to that system, health system, in my private, I hear from my patients. People are indicating that simple drugs as Panadols they can't get.
Right.
Recently I got somebody said that the anesthetist bought Panadols for the patients because it's one day surgery and they were going home after the gynecological surgery, and the anesthetist bought and the doctor bought Panadols to give the people to go home. So it is a serious problem of, as I say, procurement and dispensing of pharmaceuticals, non-farm. A lot of people in South have complained that a lot of the lab tests, such as PSA and those general lab tests, creatinine levels, which is run-of-the-mill test, blood tests, to do other things, they cannot get it and they have to go privately. There's long waiting times for the CT, MRI, and also normal everyday ultrasound, cardiac ultrasounds. So there is a problem, complete problem, in the system, and is exactly what you've just said. Now, healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago is a serious problem, but you start off by saying why we didn't fix other hospitals. You would like me to answer that now?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people have, the first thing they said, why did you build a new hospital? Why not fix the existing hospitals?
Right.
Now, if you ever had to renovate a house, you know that renovation costs more than actually building the house all over again.
Right.
Because you have to break down and put back up. And one has to understand the dream and philosophy of the People's Partnership at that time, and me being the Minister of Health. My thrust was medical tourism, educational tourism, where people would come from abroad to learn in Trinidad and Tobago. People would come from abroad, insurance, people with insurance would come for treatment in Trinidad and Tobago. We have to attract specialists from abroad, the best specialists for different items. So none of our hospitals, Port of Spain Hospital, San Fernando Hospital, Eric Williams Hospital, Sandy Brady Hospital, none of those hospitals none are accredited internationally with the JCI accreditation system. None, absolutely none. So no international person is going to come to those hospitals to get treatment because the insurance carriers won't carry it. And when they look it up on the internet or wherever, those are non-accredited hospitals.
Right.
So we created the hospitals, started off with the Couva Children's Hospital, and made it into international accredited standards. The whole thing is international accredited standards. If you go into that hospital, you will think you're in a totally developed country with those hospitals. just so we could start off with the medical tourism,
Right.
the educational tourism, which will bring in foreign exchange. Soon too was the oncology center, which has been shut down. The whole idea was that the oncology center and Tobago Hospital would work in tandem together. Specialist, and the whole idea was the thrust was on education and training. People will come from all over the world to learn oncology, medical, pediatric and adult medicine, burns and plastics, as well as the neurosurgery and other things that were going to be developed at the Couva Children's Hospital. So it's not just a hospital for treating local people. And that is a mistake that's been made with even the regime today. The Port of Spain Hospital, there's a plan that I had done with the British people,
Right.
accrediting a major hospital city there, also the IDB, not just building a central block. It was going to be the total area. Training, it was called Sustainable Cities with the IDB. Arima Hospital has been built on the same prototype.
Right.
So to Point Fortin Hospital. So if you notice that it was going to be, and then we had a Mayaro Hospital ready to go. Not Sani Grande, it's too close to Arima. We were not going to just give you a hospital in Sani Grande because you asked for it for voting sakes.
Right.
Mayaro needed one because the oil belt, Guayari and those places needed a hospital that would be servicing that demographics. And it was going to be accredited standards, international accredited standards. But none of the hospitals in this country right now, except the Couva Hospital, are internationally accredited hospitals. And you can't bring them up to that level. It would make you can't.
Okay, so basically it is better to build.
And according to a
opposed to
sort of
repair.
a development plan of an accreditation system.
Right. Now, a couple minutes ago you mentioned the Port of Spain General Hospital.
Right.
Now, I'm quoting, and
Go
I have
ahead.
to read,
Yeah.
the current health minister, which is Terence Dialsing, is quoted as saying, from an article in December 2017 in The Guardian, it is absolutely criminal that between 2010 and 2015, no one addressed the fact that the central block of the Port of Spain General Hospital was a seismic risk. No one took it upon themselves to fix the central block in a time of plenty, Dialsing told reporters.
Well, the other thing is playing politics, of course, and there's nothing wrong with that. We addressed that hospital central block since 2011, since I've been there. 2011, 2012, we got the university study, we got the demographic, the study of the geological study. We got all the studies for tendering processes. We found out whether it was going to be worthwhile to break down or just refurbish.
Right.
We did every single thing and came up with a plan that the central block was in need of repair and refurbishing. But basically, I started off by saying, yes, we went through with it and we were going to fix it. But when the English people indicated we could take down the central block, but if you notice, the central block is not the problem. If you walk through Port of Spain Hospital, by the mortuary, the engineering department, and all those areas, all the area across there, is dilapidated old derelict buildings. They're all, mashed up. And people are still working that, and it's a health hazard as well as a occupational health and safety hazard. We were going to remove those areas and put in a 10-story structure in that area, so that would have taken place, the patients would have been offloaded into that area. We were going to also put a 5-story car park, where the car park is right now, going upwards, linked towards that area. Over on the other side of the road in Port of Spain Hospital, that piece of land was going to have both a residential structure for people as well as clinic structure and a area below for commercial use. And with a sky bridge going to Port of Spain Hospital, maintaining the front part of the hospital. And where the maternity block is in Port of Spain Hospital, it was going to be done over and developed for basically neonatal intensive care.
Right.
And behind that, there's the school. But in between that school and Jerningham Avenue, we were going to put lecture theatres, a whole system of training, teaching, etc., with another residential area just off Jerningham Avenue, 10-story structure, together with another ward system and car parks. So just looking at the central block and talking about the central block and is criminal, etc., he's playing politics and that is his right. But he cannot come into office in 2.5 or 2 years or 1 year and have all that done if it was not done before. Because it takes approximately 6 to 8 months or 6 months to put out a tender and get a supplier to assess a building. That's how the system works in Trinidad. So that would have been done before with all the plans and everything there. The geophysical studies was in front of him. It did not come there by a genie from a lamp when they rubbed it.
Right.
It came because we did a lot of work before. I was hoping, and in fact, I tried to start it. The English contractors, I think it was IMG, they had gotten a 1% loan for us for about $5 billion from the English government, British government, that we were only going to pay when the whole system was done. It would take about 10, 12 years. And then we'd start to pay. That was a loan that we should have kept here. So we could have gotten that whole system and a city in that area. We were planning it, and if you think I'm lying, it's all in North Central and Northwest Regional Authority and the Ministry.
Okay.
All the plans.
Right. Now, Dr. Khan, our program is interactive, so we open our telephone line 622-9785 or 628-6093. Those are the numbers to call if you would like to be a part of this afternoon's discussion. We have Dr. Fuad Khan in studio with us today, and we are discussing local health care, and we're going to get into some politics.
Could I also speak about the oncology center?
Absolutely.
When I went into office, the oncology center was there on the books, and we were able to get together with the technocrats of the ministry, the go ahead with Faro Partnership and those other people to continue development of the oncology center. We were putting in the oncology center something called linear accelerators, CyberKnife, and also something called a cyclotron. Phoenix Gas, I think, they were giving us 60 million in the Caribbean. None.
Right, so we've got to stop to take this call. Hi, good afternoon, caller, you are live.
The position to further those plans. I know you know this voice, and you know I am one of your great supporters and your patient, ex-patient, all of that. So my question to you, Dr. Fuad Khan, will you ever, do you think, be in a position the way things are looking with the party? I know you have been trying your best. You're that kind of person, kind. You don't like confrontation, to have dialogue and many initiatives that, you know, appears not to be bearing any fruit. But when I hear you talk about bringing in foreign exchange, foreigners coming in to utilize our facilities, I think it is great, it is fantastic. My question is to you, Dr. Fuad Khan, will you be able to carry on that wonderful initiative of yours, should things continue the way they are? Thank you, God bless. Tant in and out.
Tanti out.
Thank you very much. I would like to...
I think what Tanti is alluding to is, I mean, and Tanti preempted my interview this afternoon because we're going to get into, you know, a little controversy.
You see, I'll tell you something.
That happened within the last couple of days between yourself.
Whatever. And what I'm saying is that was the philosophy and the dream and the plan that I was trying to roll out in the last 5 years. And it's impossible from where the procurement rules in this country that it takes about 10 years to start seeing that type of fruit. And I don't know if we'll ever be there to do it again, but I could keep articulating it, and the powers that be, and hopefully who is in office, will understand the plan and hopefully take parts of it and move forward. The whole idea about it, another thing too, Scarborough Hospital was designed, and I put an MRI as well as a cath lab there, which they didn't have before, for cardiac services. It wasn't even on the plan. Reason behind that, I was hoping that an offshore medical school would have been started in Tobago. An offshore medical school brings foreign students, foreign money, foreign everything for utilizing the hotels, the taxis, the whole area. And that hospital in Scarborough was designed for clinical training and teaching of an offshore medical school. So Tobago will be well served with educational tourism from a medical offshore system. And people who have looked into it. We need that type of offshore medical system in Trinidad and also specialist training systems. So that was the plan for health.
Right. I mean, it sounds all well and good in theory, but the reality is, I mean, as I started the conversation, we are unable to get basic medication, shortage of Panadol and stuff like that.
You
So
know
how
why?
do we...
The procurement is a mess. We changed, when I was a minister,
Right.
I decided to put NIPDEC on a month-to-month contract and develop a hospital, what they call a hospital, like a private system in the Ministry of Health. I can't remember the name of the company, I think it was Health Services something company. That would have done all the procurement and all the distribution of drugs. We would have gotten rid of the other suppliers, which was NIPDEC and those people.
Right.
And they would have been able to decide where the drugs were going, how they were going, how they're coming from. Right now, C40, that houses all the pharmaceuticals and non-pharmaceuticals, there is no accountability, no system, nothing in place. We had put a system in place where you could have tracked as much as a Panadol where it was going.
Right.
You could have tracked where it was happening, where everything was going, vaccines, etc., farm and non-farm goods. Ordering before was being done by a low-level, as I say, employee. In fact, what happened at one time, before my time, when I came across any consultancy, the wrong size mattresses were sent to Port of Spain Hospital. They couldn't use any, 1,000 mattresses.
Was that a mistake, or
No,
is it deliberate?
no. Is the people who are responsible leave it to a lower staff level to just order. There was no checks and balances, and we were putting those checks and balances in place. And that is why the system of records, medical records, we needed to have a card to scan for records and those things.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't do that in 5 years. People have to take up the mantle and move forward. What happened when we left office? They just stopped doing what we were doing, and they just disbanded everything. And now, in the Ministry of Health, they're saying that we have to revert back to everything that I was doing in 2015.
Okay.
So you have lost the ball.
Right.
Because by the time you come to elections, it's only 2.5 years. If you start your processes now, we're not going to see fruit until election.
Correct. Right. What are your views on the legalization or the decriminalization of marijuana and the implications for our health sector?
I have been advocating that in Parliament. I've articulated it in Parliament. I've said that the time is now, because there are countries such as Colorado in the States and I think other ones, and Jamaica and different places, they're jumping the gun on us, what they call recreational marijuana use and medical marijuana use. And as a result of that, there are small amounts of marijuana that is being allowed. And tourists are flocking to these places. In fact, Colorado has given scholarships based on the amount of money it collects from the marijuana that is being okayed in Colorado. We should do it in Tobago and we should do it in Trinidad, but nobody has the testicular fortitude to take it. It's like, why you didn't do it? I say we couldn't do it then because the timing wasn't right. The time now, the world is going that way, so we could say, okay, the world is going that way too. Right now, the time is right for that, and it's also decriminalizing prostitution. That's the only way you are going to make sure that prostitute trafficking is people who have been trafficked with prostitution can report it to the police without fear of being slammed and charged for being a prostitute. So right now the pimps get away and everybody else get away. And
Right.
the ladies, you see them in handcuffs
that's right.
being walked off. We need to decriminalize marijuana and decriminalize prostitution. There are young men in remand yard who couldn't afford bail for 1 joint or 2 joints, are there for a longer time than their sentences would have served.
Right.
And they're stuck there. You decriminalize it, you can get a lot of these young people back out because they cannot afford bail and they're in remand yard. If you've been to remand yard, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
I have been to remand
See how dirty it is?
I have.
Terrible.
Oh. Now, back in 20, what are your thoughts on nepotism by politicians in posts of authority?
When I say nepotism, like what?
Okay.
Nepotism is a broad word, you know. If somebody comes to me for a job and they have the right mix for the job and I assist them in getting that job by sending their resume to let's say a regional health authority in this case, and they find that this person is good and they are hired, is that nepotism? Is that assistance?
And
You
that'll
do it
make
for your family and
reference-
friends. You do it
Wow,
for somebody.
right,
You do it
so-
for somebody. If somebody comes to your constituency office with somebody that, in fact, I'll tell you something. Is a lady came to me. She was responsible for the ordering in Walmart, Canada. She didn't have a degree, right? But she has now gotten an MBA. I saw her excellence, and I used that, and I asked them to give her a consultancy to do the full gamut of supply chain systems in the drug system. Is that nepotism?
Well, I mean, back in 2013, and I'm going to read because I
Sure.
want to be very specific. Back in 2013, there were grumblings in the NWRHA when your wife was nominated as the executive medical director of the NWRHA, despite Dr. Suresh Puran acting in the post for over a year. Now, a lot of people took issue when Hazel Manning became education
Right.
minister under Patrick Manning as prime minister. Do you feel that your spouse being recommended or promoted to a high post under your leadership was a good move?
I told her don't take it, but she said she's a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. They had an advertisement. She applied. She gave them her documentation. There was an interview between herself and Dr. Puran. They interviewed them, the Northwest people who interviewed them, right? When she got the job, when she got the job, I told her when I went home, I said, don't take that job, it will look bad. She said, I'm not doing that. I went through fair and square. I applied fair and square. I got it fair and square. You had no input into it, which I didn't, but people did not believe it. And also, my wife is not only not only a medical doctor, occupational doctor, she's also a practicing attorney. She's a LLB, LEC. And I was told if they deny her that, she could take them to court, which she would have. Because she was saying that if I don't get that job, I'm going to go to court on freedom of information, and I'm going to find out why I was denied the position.
Right.
Because I went through it fair and square. It wasn't handpicked where Hazel Manning was handpicked and made a minister. I did everything to dissuade her not to get it. What do I do?
Great. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit here. Recently you posted a video on social media when you spoke about housing, encouraging people to essentially squat
Yeah.
if they aren't getting through with HDC. What are your views on our housing sector?
Disgusting. I still say go on squat. Nobody does you anything. If you want a house, it's better you go on Lady Young Road and squat because nobody's doing anything. You get lights, you get water. How the hell you get that? I don't know. Because you're supposed to, when you go for lights and water, you have to
Right.
carry your deed, your this, your that, and that. Right? But everybody on Lady Young Road, I pass there every day. They're all squatting. Is increasing on the hills. They're burning down the hills and they're squatting. Why should the young people go and pay $1 million when they could go and squat and put up a house and have the best view in town and the government does nothing? Don't think that is irresponsible because people are on the lookout, just put up sheds. People on all the places just put up sheds. People do what they want in this country. They make their buck, they make their money, right? And also they squat, they get lights, they get water, they get everything else. Why not? If that is the way the system works, enjoy it.
We've got to stick a pin to take this call. Caller, you live. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my dear. Good afternoon.
I am a retired public servant. And before independence, it was improper for any government official or parliamentarian or minister to make any recommendation for any benefit from government. Have that law been changed? Because I would understand that based on the doctrine of the separation of the powers. Now we have high government officials making recommendations for their houses, for their boyfriend and all kind of things, and they get it. Is that legal?
Thank you so much for your call. Is it legal?
Making recommendations.
And having your spouses, your boyfriends.
The guy asked a specific question. He said making recommendations to get them in a position.
Right.
That is not legal.
Okay.
However, if there's an advertisement, I'd like him to think about it and call back. If there's an advertisement on our papers, right, and from a state enterprise, and somebody applies who's a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, Are you then saying now that spouses, boyfriends, whatever of people should not apply because the person in office? That, sir, is rubbish thinking.
Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
to you. I just heard Mr. Falcon, Dr. Falcon, say that he do not know how the squatters and them get the supply. But I want him to talk to Mr. Ganga Singh because he built some houses in St. Augustine South. And he got connections. So tell me you'll get the answer from Ganga Singh.
You go political.
Thank you so much for your contribution. I want to switch gears now. We're going to stop to take a very short break, but when we return, we'll continue this evening's discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our duty to fix it. We are touching on every sector of society. Race, class, and corruption. Nothing is off limit. No holds barred. The Cold Truth with Kimm Cole. The power belongs to the people. Join us right here, Monday to Sunday, 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m.
Hi, welcome to Tanti's Show Food Delight. We are located at Orsa Spaniard and Duke Street, Port of Spain. Graduated from THTI, which is they call Hotel School at Shagaramas, and I am the owner of this business. And we have daily lunches, which is from Tuesdays to Saturdays. On a Saturday, we do breads, sweet bread. We also have soups, oxtail soup and cowbell soups to your delight. We also have different menus daily from 11 to 3. We also cater for different occasions like weddings and birthday parties. We always want to ensure that the customer is satisfied with the end product here at Tanti's Kitchen.
Edge Solution is a brand of hair and skin products that are used to treat different issues. We offer a hair treatment oil that repairs traction, alopecia, and thinning hair and edges. A scalp treatment cream that's used for dandruff, dry scalp, folliculitis, and other funguses that are in the scalp. We also have a shampoo and conditioner that works along with our cream and oil, giving you maximum benefits. Our shampoo is peppermint infused, which helps unclog pores and aid in hair regrowth. We also have a calming skin lotion, which is excellent for psoriasis, eczema, and other skin issues. All our products are all natural and contains no harsh chemicals and are 100% handmade.
The Red Edge Mall at the corner Mooneyram Street and Western Main Road, St. James, where parking is available for our valued customers on both sides of the street. Red Edge Mall caters for the health conscious, the tastiest soups you'll ever find, the freshest produce, trendy clothing for the fashion dons and divas. Experience the most exotic African male and female outfits, costume jewelry of all descriptions. If you're one who pays special attention to your hair, welcome to the home of hair. Get the latest and widest variety of phones of all descriptions and repairs on the spot at the Red Edge Mall. Closing time 9 p.m. The Red Edge Mall, making shopping affordable. Powered by the Black Caucus Movement.
The Black Caucus Movement, we're making a statement. The Black Caucus Movement, making a statement. Yeah, 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 yeah.
and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our duty to fix it. We are touching on every sector of society. Race, class, and corruption. Nothing is off limit. No holds barred. The Cold Truth with Kimm. The power belongs to the people. Join us right here, Monday to Sunday, 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m.
Welcome back to our program. You are looking at The Cold Truth. I am Kimm, and in studio we have Dr. Fuad Khan. Our topic for discussion is healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago. Our telephone lines are open 622-9785 or 628-6093 to be a part of this afternoon's discussion. Dr. Khan.
Yes, Kimm, hi.
The question that everybody wants the answer to, what is happening with Michaela Pandey and the UNC?
What has happened, Michaela Pandey and UNC? I think I made a very grave error there trying to even start discussions with the Pandays. And I since then pulled back. And I've gotten the impression that if it doesn't go their way, then mash it up. So I decided to pull back on that. If it doesn't go, whose way? The Pandays' way? Yeah, you just mash it up. So I decided that, you know, I'm not continuing that process anymore with them.
Wow. The Cold Truth, guys. Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live.
Hello, Miss Cole. I hope you'll allow me 1 more minute with Dr. Khan.
Yes, my dear.
A caller just called and referred to boyfriend and alleged common law husband. Dr. Khan, I think, as you know, our Miss Cole has been the champion of houses from HDC for the poor man, and knowing that the poor man don't get the houses. Now that caller, I think from my understanding, was referring to alleged Miss Marlene McDonald getting a house, just making a call to then Minister of Housing, Dr. Rudal Munilal, and so, you know, the common law fiancé, common law husband got the house just like that. And that was what that caller was alluding to. I myself wondered when that happened, and Dr. Munilal just gave a house because alleged Miss Marlene called, and he got a house. Now that does not augur right for the little man. And that was what I think that caller meant. For me, I felt strongly about that too. And allegedly, Dr. Munilal got away scot-free, but Miss Marlene took all the blame that she got a house from HDC. You know, I would like you perhaps to throw some light on it. Respectfully, sir. Thank you. Thanks out.
Thanks, you out.
I have no idea about what she's speaking about. I mean, I can't throw light on something I don't know. I'll be honest, I mean, I don't know about that.
Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my dear.
Yeah, I would like to ask Mr. Khan if he did ever speak to Kamala concerning bringing back Pandey, his daughter, Jack Warner, and their fellas before he went if he ever speak to Kamala about that, before going to speak to Panda and the fellas. Because the way I read it, then she talked like she didn't know nothing about that. Right? And all she wants is youth and she party.
Right.
Right? But you have how they call it, Suresh, you have Gopi Singh, you have all them old people in your party, but you're saying you want young people. And it seemed like Pandey and they didn't know nothing about what's going on. And they were shocked to see you back about that. You understand? So I would like to clarify something because it seems like you going on some different side with what them know about. Because they're shocked to hear how you are getting on now.
Thank you
so much. I want to know if you ever speak to them concerning that.
Have you ever spoken to them concerning that?
Speaking to who?
Have you ever spoken to the Pandays and Jack Warner about coming back to the UNC?
I made a comment on the Monday Night Forum about whether people would look and see that. Mikela Pandey called me. She asked me to come to a meeting. Mr. Pandey was there.
Right.
I said, what do you want me to do? They want to take back to the leader. I went back to the leader. She said she's going to meet with anybody who wants to build the party.
Right.
She's not going to meet with people who want to attack the party,
right.
which is her right. And the thing about it, she'll meet with anybody who wants to come and build the party.
Right.
And if they want to build the party, they're welcome to come. And all of a sudden, I see press releases flying left, right, and center.
How did that make you feel, being
terrible.
Caught in the middle of something?
I feel as I was used. I was actually used and abused unfairly because of their own selfish interests. I mean, I really truly thought that. I thought negotiation is done in good faith, not sending press releases to tell the world what
so you feel like you get popped then?
I get jammed.
You get put up, you get put in place.
I get put in place, and for that, I apologize. But did not realize and know that what I was dealing with.
Right.
And when you find that you're dealing with something that is deadly, you just put a wall around yourself.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. Caller, you are live. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, my dear.
Okay, well, I may just differ a little bit. What I'm concerned about is that with crime and with things that were happening in school, I saw this guy program this morning. What's his name? From St. James. Stefan. Yeah, the police officers and drill training to school, which is it's very nice. But what I'm concerned about is that they open a children's court, and there's a word court for children. Once you're under 18, I'm talking about them. That word court.
Could I ask you to please stay on topic this afternoon? Our topic is healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago. If you have a concern about the healthcare or a comment about the healthcare, we would welcome it. But I think you're going to take me off topic, and we have just about 15-20 minutes before we wrap up.
What happened to the Trinidad hospital? The child guts coming out of belly, and they won't open the Trinidad hospital, but they open a children's court. This is it for African people. The parliament is the Beetham Highway and Woodford Square. Yes.
Thank you so much for your contribution, caller. Why open a children's court and not open the children's hospital? What are your thoughts, your views?
The children's hospital is there already to be opened. I mean, opening a children's court is necessary too. You can't give one and not give the other. I think the both of them are necessary. You need to get a children's hospital, you need to get a children's court, because children in this country have been abused badly. And the thing about it, they have nowhere to turn, nobody to turn to. I know a social worker with my good friend, and she had to social work in education. She went home and cried daily on what the elder people are doing to the young children.
Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live. Hello, good afternoon.
Oh, I'm getting too boy. The phone just ringing.
Caller, you're live. You get through.
Hello?
Yes. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. With reference to a statement made by Dr. Khan early on, and somebody spoke about Ganga Singh and all these people. I want to say that I knew Ganga Singh when he was in the NL in 1986, but the getting of lights and water and all of that. Chinapu, Nevadirty, Lavantel, Beetham, Kokorit were some of the areas where that was done between 1956 and 1986. So that caller was out of place to say Ganga Singh. He has to go further back when the whole thing was institutionalized, like the massive corruption that has failed us up to today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution, my dear. Now, what do you think is, I was listening to the Monday Night Forum last night, right? And the opposition leader, the political leader, stated that the UNC would be fighting the next general election alone. Do you think the UNC in its current form is strong enough to fight and win the next general election?
No, we did it before in 2000.
In 2000?
And we won.
But we're talking about currently.
We won 2000, and where the PNM is going, where the economy is going, you can't get foreign exchange.
Right.
People losing their jobs. Every day you're hearing somebody closing down, and at the end of the day, the whole country is going flat, and the sea bridge, right now the sea bridge is completely down. The decisions that are being taken is exposing this government to be incompetent. So if it continues along this trend, you put anybody in place, and thank God the UNC is there, they will float in.
Right. So, hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live.
If you need assistance.
Hello. Caller, you are live. Yes, good afternoon. You're live.
Hi. Good afternoon, Kimm.
Yes, good afternoon, dear. You're live.
How are you doing? Good afternoon, Dr. Khan.
Hi, good afternoon.
Caller, please make your contribution.
Yeah, so what I wanted to find out is every day we have individuals going to the healthcare facilities and they're being turned away because they cannot get their prescriptions filled. What is the situation with regards to people getting their prescriptions, and also what is happening with the CDAP program?
Good question.
From what I heard, the CDAP program, a lot of the normal everyday items are not available. People are having a lot of problems getting anything done.
Right.
I mean, when you know, so the whole system, basically, CDAP system, etc., accountability and access to the CDAP system seems to be on a downward spiral.
Right. Now, going back to your previous point, where I asked the question as it relates to the opposition leader declaring she's going to go into the next election alone. Now, is it safe to say, or is it fair to say, that the opposition is reliant on a failing PNM government to automatically put them back into election?
No, I'm just saying that would assist. But the opposition, okay. So you say this is the whole truth, right?
The cold truth.
The cold?
Yes.
Okay. A taxi driver in the airport who is one of my constituents from El Chico South. One day he summed it up nicely. He said, Doc, the PNM, there are people in the PNM who don't really have what they call a sort of a business brain. They have public service systems. He said the United National Congress, DLP, and those people were people who came from the business sector and have created their own businesses and they've come into the system and they understand business arrangements. So he said that when you look at the both parties, you will see they have two different philosophies of governance.
Right.
One is a business type, one is a public type, for want of a better word, business versus public.
Right.
You have to have a mix of both, right? So that is why you have to have business and public sector systems. The PNM has more public sector thinking and the UNC has more business sector thinking. If one of the parties could marry both, that will go over well, and not only marry both, but implement whatever changes each one could do. And for what it's looking at right now, the UNC has done it better, because that's what we did in 2010 to 2015. We married business and public sector together.
And I'm going to continue on that after this call. Hi, good afternoon, caller, you live. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon, Kimm, and good afternoon, Dr. Khan.
Good afternoon, caller, and if I can ask you to please keep it really short this evening.
Yes. Dr. Khan, can you remember the original plan of the Cuba Children's Hospital? The original plan. And I want to ask you something. What is the structure that is there today? Is that the original plan?
I can't answer, I can't remember that one. I think it was the original plan. That was built. It was designed and built when we were in office. So what would have been there would have been what we built, what we designed.
Caller, are you there or are you gone? You're welcome to call back, hopefully.
I don't understand the question, because what we designed it, I mean, UDCOT designed it and we built it. In fact, it was built in 18 months.
Right. Now, getting back to the UNC winning and going into government alone, the word on the ground, the word on the east-west corridor, the a lot of the citizens, the electorate on the East-West Corridor are of the view that between the period of 2010-2015, whereby they do not deny that a lot more was happening, and you know, as they say, the money was sharing, the money was spreading, people was living better. Many people have expressed concern in that they feel as though the East-West Corridor was neglected between the period of 2010 and 2015, and as such they are apprehensive to just go back to put the UNC again in office.
When you look at the development that took place throughout the country, right? Who did the roundabout and the system in Valencia and that new area to bypass the system? Who created that? We did. I mean, that is Valencia, right? Who did and opened the Diego Martin Highway? We did. Who built the Carnage Health Center? I did. And it was supposed to be a standalone center for people to go there 24 hours, 7 days a week, and to develop systems in place for anything occurring down there. It's closed. Right through. We did that. And we did a Carnage Health Center in preference for Ashagona's Health Center, which was on the cards to be done. So what I'm saying to you, anybody who says to you and says to me that we neglected the East-West Corridor, right? We developed the whole country. I remember Sewage as Minister of Works, making sure that there were box trains, there were everything done on the East-West Corridor. Each MP, you know, we were given a list that what was happening. Roads were being paved, they're not potholed, but not being patched. Right now pothole is on being patched. Mohan Sinha has become the pothole patching minister. We actually paved the roads. Who did the new bridge by Cascade? There's Cascade where they turn off into the bridge. Who did that? Who fixed the bridge by Carlton Savannah? So that is not East-West Corridor.
Right, but in comparison to the development that we have seen taking place, or that took place from, you know, Grand Bazaar all the way south.
Like what? I mean, we put an aquatic center that 40 countries have come to use that, but they haven't heard the word about it. All the hotels are filled. That was an aquatic center that we built. And we built it in such a manner it was easy access along the highway, because they couldn't get in, everything could not be done in Port of Spain or that area. We were going to build also in Tunapuna. Remember that complex in Tunapuna? Everybody went up in arms and said, you know, and Annie Roberts had to go and actually beg people to build the Tunapuna Center, the whole sports complex. What I'm saying, the Cuba Hospital was done there because the land was reasonable. Courts was given, they asked for that area, that the courts mega system, and they access they want that area. Well, if you could put an access road, you know, if you're going to get a development like that and foreign exchange coming in, we did that. So this is what we did. We did systems throughout the whole country. I felt a little perturbed because I would have liked to have built a Mayaro hospital, rather than just refurbish the hospital that was there. And the Sandy Granny Hospital will be refurbished at different levels. We placed a neonatal unit inside. We placed a pharmacy. We increased the blood bank. We did a whole new system, and right now there's a Sandy Granny enhanced sector health center being done next to the hospital. The Women's Outpatient Center was conceptualized, built, designed by yours truly in the ministry, that's on next to the women's area. So anybody who says that it just happened that way, they did not look at the overall development of what we were doing.
But I mean, it still doesn't change their perception and
but
their
you
position.
Can't help, because when people are biased, they're biased. You can't change perception. If you're biased, you're biased.
And we do have to take this call. Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. You're live.
Yes, good afternoon. I lost the call just now, unfortunately, when I was asking Dr. Khan about the plans for the Children's Hospital. Well, Mr. Khan, two things, quickly, very quickly, because I know there are many callers calling it. Firstly, the building that we got there for our money is 4 times the cost. I'm very sorry that I didn't have something to text to the studio so that they can show the original plan and what we got. The 4 times the price of the original plan. Secondly, you said that you all did stuff in the country for people. Trust me, Dr. Khan. The reason why you all were kicked to the curb in 2015 was because of allegations of mass corruption. Up to now, the Auditor General's report, Dr. Khan, says totally contrary to what you are saying here. And what is appalling, and I would hang up very soon, is the fact that from the day after the last general elections, you all presented yourselves with no shame as an alternative, right? I know that you are trying to pull together the party now. You all have to get rid of Kamla and all Suraj Rambacha and Munilal and all of them who are under investigation, because the only way, as Kimm said, you all will get back into power is if the PNM put you all there. That is the only way you all will get back in power, because PNM people withhold their votes when they're dissatisfied. UNT people don't do that. Regardless of what you all do, your people will vote for you. They do not call you all to account. I'm a patriot. I voted for Kamla in 2010. I voted for Kamla. And I'm telling you, when I started to see what was going on, I changed, I switched. Because I'm for country, Dr. Khan. I'm not political. I'm here, and you're calling people political because they have another point of view. I am a patriot, Dr. Khan. I will die for this country. I will die for this country. And it was a disgrace what we had to go through between 2010 and 2015. And trust me, this whole, what you all have is a very good marketing system. You all have a real good propaganda machine. A very good propaganda machine, because there are a lot of questions to be answered for our money. But thank you for the opportunity, Kimm, for speaking. And Dr. Khan, please do not be disingenuous. Do not.
Thank you so much for your contribution, caller.
Sometimes we can't argue with people who are as passionate as that. You know, what he says, he believes. What I say, I believe. So on the bottom line, you know, he is under the impression that all this thing happened during our time, Auditor General report, etc., etc., etc. And
but there, I'm pretty certain there are at least 150,000 people who share the same sentiments that he does.
What about 300,000 don't?
Well, it's yet to be seen in 2020.
People should not just live for elections, and you know. At the end of the day, they have to live for country, and I'm glad Guy said he's a country for country. And I hope he's very happy what the PNM is doing in the country right now.
Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live.
Good evening. I didn't plan to call the program, but I had to call. But you have been calling me for the longest while. I don't know. I don't call, for that matter, I called Mr. O'Brien. I think I had a special number there, but of late when I call it, I notice I'm not getting through. I don't know if he gave instruction as my business partner, and I tell him a while ago, if that is what he's trying, and he wants excitement, I will give him excitement. So if he feels his joke, if he feels he could take me as an investor and play the fool with me, because I never play the fool with him, I'm always honest with him. As I was trying to get him, just ask Mr. Khan, as you know, Dr. Khan. I mean, when he's speaking about, like, they developed the East-West corridor and otherwise, he knows that he was not honest in saying that. He knows even the development that took place under the stewardship, as I always say, they did quite a lot of development, but only in their areas. He just mentioned something that they do after how much $100 million was spent. And not only that, what was spent, all the contracts. I want them to all, when I say all, I mean all the lucrative contracts was given to the Indians. And you get a few of the Syrians, just like how you have Mr. Aboud, who just transporting the prisoners year after year after year. They wouldn't give nobody else a chance. He making billions and billions. Now he take over Carnage, you know, Shagaramas. Now he took over that building, that Carlton Savannah. Now he's building some other mall or something like that. I mean, just billions of dollars. But we have over 600,000 Africans here, and all you cannot even show me 10 developed Africans to say permanent in business that people can see them, not even 5 from Port of Spain to San Fernando. But I just would like that somebody move out, audio move out, both governments, the two governments for the past few years, just move them out completely, and let a new young face or some other face come in and who care about Trinidad and Tobago. The audience is talking about Trinidad and Tobago like if you all care about Trinidad. And you know you all care, you always only sell first. When you do a contract and the next thing, I know that. You all take billions, millions and millions in every contract in terms of, I mean, kick back and all them kind of nonsense and don't study the country. You know to yourself, Trinidad should never be in this condition that is in today. That is no maybe about it. With the kind of blessed we get in oil, gas, and all, you never diversify the economy. None of all you, none. And we in this country here today, people just eating one another, fight. I mean, and all kind of that.
Caller, could you please wrap up your contribution, please? We unfortunately have run out of time. Dr. Khan, your response?
From the way the caller is speaking, you would swear we have been here since 1956 as the UNC in power. Everything he's talked about, diversification, etc., you would swear that the United National Congress was here in 1956 and continued for 40 years and never stopped.
But he did point out both parties.
No, I'm just saying, there's no perfect system. You have to work with the system that is given to you and how it's done. You have to decide what are the goals, the way you're going to go, and how you're going to achieve those goals. When you decide on a goal, you have to check to see if it's been implemented. And that is how Dubai works. And if Dubai works like that, and we take the prototype from Dubai, have a minister of implementation or follow-up, and have goals and set goals and check your goals, it will move better. But once you have a system that everything that you look at, is that the public sector and the private sector. The public sector don't trust the private sector, and the private sector said the public sector blocks everything. And once you have that system clashing here in this country, you will reach nowhere fast. And once a government comes into office and stops what the other government was doing before, you're going to just keep rolling backwards all the time. That is Trinidad and Tobago in the political truth, whole truth of Trinidad and Tobago. You aren't going nowhere fast when you have one set of people pulling, so one set of people so, and the government working for those people that pulling it sideways.
Right. Dr. Khan, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we have run
out of time.
It was
excellent. I enjoyed it.
Yes, you are welcome to come back at any given time so that we can discuss. Thank you so much to our viewing audience for being a part of this afternoon's discussion, housing, and a little bit of politics tomorrow. I want to touch on the statements made by opposition leader Kimm as it relates to the UNC as a party going forward alone, retaining government in 2020. Thank you so much again for viewing. We see you tomorrow.
With Kimm Cole, the power belongs to the people. Join us right here Monday to Sunday, 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m.